something happened to me yesterday on Facebook ads. What I'm going to ask you about is, do you think that the landscape of Facebook advertising has evolved over the last few years? And the reason I'm kind of chuckling to myself, because it's changed in the last 2 weeks, right? I went on to my
Constantly
ads man.
changing.
I know. I went on my ads manager and I couldn't find something. I spent an hour trying to find the button that was there 2 weeks ago. My name's Carl Hinder, and you're listening to the Salon Help Good to Go podcast, a podcast for salon spa and clinic owners who want to grow with more structure, more confidence, and better results. Episode 56 with Ann Vasey, part 1, talking about digital media and paid advertising. Okay then, guys, welcome to the Salon Help Good to Go podcast. Now, the Salon Help Good to Go podcast, if you don't know about us, it's about thinking in a certain way. Now, you can go back to episode 1, series 1, episode 1, and find out what Good to Go is all about. Essentially, though, Good to Go is about being at a level, being at a standard that is good enough to progress. Lots of us actually look for perfection. I certainly look for perfection in my business and in my personal life as well. And sometimes that stops us from making progress. So the podcast is all about being at a certain level, which is good enough to move forward. So today, we are going to be talking about Facebook ads and how we kind of inspire you and guide you and get you to a level which is good enough for you to take action and progress a bit. Now, in this podcast, I have got Ann Vasey from Grapevine Marketing, and we're going to have a really, really nice chat over a tea and a coffee in this session. So, Ann, do you want to dive in straight away, introduce yourself, tell them all about you, I guess?
Thank you, Carl. Thanks very much for the invite, and it's really great to be here with you. I would like to say that I haven't done this all of my adult life. I was quite late coming to this industry. I was a teacher for many years. I taught business, IT, and maths. And it got to a point in my life where I thought, am I going to carry on doing this? Is it time for a change? It was with the rise of Facebook marketing that was just beginning. And like everybody else, I was getting involved in it, looking at it, and you'd see all of these adverts keep popping up. And at that time, it just seemed like this magic process, like this weird magic trick that followed you around all over the internet. And I just thought, I want to learn how to do that. And thought I've got enough background skills in business as well. I'd already been helping lots of businesses and thought, well, I'm going to learn how to do it. So I literally spent about 3 months where I left my job, just got straight into the training. It was very frustrating. It was really hard at first, but I was determined that I wanted to get out of teaching and I was going to make a go of it. And then within about 3 months, I'd got my first clients. The business was taking off beyond expectations, which was absolutely fantastic. So I realised I'd made the right decision and just wish I'd done it sooner. So that's a little bit of background about the advertising side. And then the specialism with focusing on the beauty industry really came because my daughter, she has a beauty and aesthetics business, which I helped her to set up. And so, of course, that's very close to my heart. And I'm constantly researching things that are going on in the beauty industries, constantly looking at which types of campaign are most effective, having a great overview because we've got over 100 clients in the beauty industry, so we can see what's working and we can act very quickly. We know the words that will sell, whatever your treatment is. We know the sort of images and videos to use. And this has taken time. I mean, it's taken 6 years to get to this point. And we never presume that we know it all because it's a constantly evolving platform. People's tastes are constantly changing in what they respond to in advertising as well. So that's how I've come to be doing this and specialising in the beauty industries.
Do you know what? That's almost a story in itself about someone who has successfully pivoted. You know, where you're teaching at one time, and then you see an opportunity, or you have an inclination towards something, and then you work hard. You said you put some extra months into this. You give up your job and you keep focused. So, I mean, there's a story in itself. What else is it about Anne? Because it's great for the podcast community to connect with people. They're there right now. They're driving along in their cars. They may not be able to see our lovely faces, Anne. What is it? What is it about you or your life that you think maybe the average business owner, salon owner would connect with? Is there anything you want to share with us?
I think it's to not be afraid to take risks, but make it a calculated risk. To not be so narrow in what you are looking at that you aren't getting influenced from other sources as well. So, for example, for many, many years, it was a long, long time ago, I trained to be a hypnotherapist and also learning about NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which some of you may have heard of. And that gave me a fantastic insight into behavioral psychology, which led very nicely into knowing how to write adverts and using psychology as well, which can be used in a bad way. Some people would say, yeah, that's manipulation. But I would always say, well, if you use anything that you know in an ethical way and it's going to be helping people, that is absolutely okay. I'm one of these people who's constantly reading self-improvement books. So that's also really great to do, because running any business, I would say a lot of it is about your mindset, and you are your own worst enemy. So if you are the sort of person who thinks, well, I can't do that, that's for other people, there's no way I could measure up to being able to do that. That's how I used to think. And then through this process of learning about hypnotherapy and NLP and reading lots and lots of books on how to get over that negative mindset, I then turned it all around. It was like, yes, of course I can do it. I've got that belief in myself. I've got the action steps I need to do to get where I want to go. And I took a calculated risk. So that doesn't mean just pack everything in and just go for it. Make a calculated risk. Is it going to work for you? And do your research, no matter what it is, be it a new treatment you're offering, be it Facebook advertising, be it TikTok advertising, whatever you want to do your research and then make a decision.
So we're not saying today, are we? Go into work, resign, okay, pull the shutters down, and then go and work it out.
No.
What we're saying, guys, is if you've got an inclination towards something, you want a career change, or there's an opportunity for you, then do it in a calculated and a very prepared way, which is the way I would coach if I was telling you to change your business within your business. I would never tell you to kind of like, I don't know, just fire all your staff. We would really have to kind of do a risk assessment, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, but I already kind of, I think everyone knows the answer before I ask you, but it's really, really important because something happened to me yesterday on Facebook ads. What I'm going to ask you about is, do you think that the landscape of Facebook advertising has evolved over the last few years? And the reason I'm kind of chuckling to myself, because it's changed in the last 2 weeks, right? I went onto my ads manager. I know, I went on my ads manager and I couldn't find something. I spent an hour trying to find the button that was there 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So I know that the system is changing, but what about our attitude, if you like, the landscape of Facebook ads? Do you think that's changed?
It is a constantly evolving thing. And as you found out, it can change in an instant. About 3 months ago, they implemented lots of changes all at once as well, which wasn't actually a good idea. And again, it was usually Facebook trying to get you to spend more time on the platform. And I think they tried to introduce too many different options for people all at once. So yes, there's been good things that they've changed as well. So for example, you don't have to jump through as many hoops to be able to advertise. You used to have to get all of your web domains approved before you could even advertise with them. So things like that, that's a big improvement. The price to advertise might have increased a bit in real terms, but I would say out of all of the advertising platforms in this industry, it's still going to give you the best value for money at the moment. So that, of course, could change at any time as well. There's been big influences in how Facebook evolves because they're, of course, always watching the competition. And in particular, after going through lockdown and the rise of TikTok and people getting into the habit of watching videos, wanting to be entertained, Facebook realized that, well, yeah, video is where we want to push people. So they put many more resources on their platform to enable you to make really great, engaging videos as well. So they get influenced by other platforms. Also, the rise of AI on the platform, which has good points and bad points. You can put in, say, content of an advert and their AI will automatically create other versions of it. But I would say don't just automatically approve those, go through them, read them. Does it get the message across properly? Is the language something that matches the ethos of your business? Because sometimes it can come across quite juvenile or a bit Americanized. So always double check everything. They can do that with the headline as well. So you can test lots of different options on the headline and on the content. And it will keep increasing the use of AI. And I would say that the next step will be there'll be a lot more with AI on visuals. So I haven't really seen much of that yet, but I presume that that will be coming very soon. You've already got chatbots on there that you can use. So again, AI is going to be a bigger and bigger part of it. They do gradually introduce more and more options for you, and they do listen to what their customers want. So, for example, when I first started doing this, you always had to create any landing pages, or think of that as a one-page website. You always had to create that externally to the platform. And then you had to get it approved and you had to make sure all your content on there was also compliant with Facebook's terms and conditions. So now they've got the option where you can actually create the landing page on the platform. So they will constantly evolve and add more and more options to the platform to keep you on there, but also to fulfill what people actually want as well. The other thing I would say about how it's changed recently is big changes to how you choose your audience. You don't need to be anywhere near as specific for the audience. And also, we always used to work on a 4-day, don't touch the ad and assess it after 4 days. And we find now that it can take longer, but over the long term, it will be better. So you really need to sometimes just leave things alone for 7 days. And of course, your knee-jerk reaction when you see you aren't getting the results you want is, oh, change something, and you keep testing and testing. And of course, you're not giving it time for the cycle of the algorithms to work properly. So another thing is leave things for 7 days now and then assess it.
Yeah, I did a lookalike audience yesterday, and I won't call it a warning. An advisory came up and said, you know, you better hang out for 3 days before we actually get a grip on this.
Yeah.
So then I did some other ads which kind of kicked off really quickly, and we got to be patient. So Facebook, it has changed, and it's going to keep changing all the time. But I'm going to talk about this in general marketing. You see, business owners, obviously that's us as well, right? We would love, and anyone who's kind of on podcast, and I won't be able to see me do this, I'm pushing my finger into the middle of my hand like it's a magic button, because that's, I see as the misconception when it comes to all social media, that we have a receptionist, a front of house, a manager, or a business owner who thinks that pressing the magic button, which is social media, solves all of their issues. Okay, so what kind of misconceptions do you think they have about Facebook ads? Set one up. Will they be millionaires? And do you think if they chuck a couple £100 into this, what do you think?
Well, sometimes you might get lucky and the first thing that you do is great and it works how you want it to, but more often than not, it won't. So you will have to experiment. Do not presume that boosting will get you what you want. I mean, that's often where the misconceptions about Facebook come from, because people have tried boosting. For some people, it has worked. for most people, it probably hasn't got them the results they want. And then they think that's not working.
I don't do any more boosting since you told me off, right? So no boosting happening at Salon Help unless something freak happens, okay? And if we do it, we'll do it in a proper way. Yeah. So
I would never say never do it, because as the algorithms continuously evolve and they're learning from themselves, and you've got all this machine learning going on, things like that will get better.
Yeah.
So I would say for now, I wouldn't advise doing it, because they're set up to find people who click on like, and that isn't always people who want your services. But if that's what you want, if you want to increase engagement and get more likes, yes, do boosting. If you want to get, people who are leads who are going to opt in and give you information, that wouldn't really be the way to do it. It's not the most effective use of your money. And of course, Facebook make it really, really easy to boost, because every post that you write, they're putting on it, boost this, and then they'll say something like, you can reach this many thousand people for £5. So of course, it's very, very tempting. But of course, out of those, 2,000 or 3,000 people a day that you might be reaching, how many are actually going to be interested in what you're doing? Are the algorithms finding the right people? So you need to do a bit more to make those algorithms work properly, and set it up properly to find the right people for your business.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, you've got to spend some time on this. Yeah. But let's go back to that magic button. What kind of things do you think people think it's going to do, but it won't do? You know what I mean?
People think they set it up. They might have their button there, which could be learn more or sign up or book now, whichever one you've chosen. And you think that people are automatically going to sign up for whatever it is. Now, for some things, they might. So if it's something that's maybe not much of a risk, either financially or what it's going to actually do to them, and they already know a bit about you and think you are trustworthy, yeah, great. That might work. You might get people booking up, and you will get people booking up directly to you, because usually when they click on your advert, they're going to have some way of booking an appointment with you, of contacting you in some way. So yes, people will do that. But when you think about your own behavior, when you're going to buy a new washing machine, for example, do you just click on the first thing that you see on Google? Do you take note of what the TV adverts are telling you? Do you do your research? Now, I'm the sort of person that I do my research. I will look at all the people who are selling washing machines. I will look at local businesses. I will look at the big brand names. And I will then look at the qualities of the washing machine. Does it do what I want it to? What about eco concerns? Is it going to conserve water? That might be important to you. So you don't just, not usually, you don't just do that knee-jerk decision. So doing your research is what people will be doing when they are clicking on your advert as well. Do they trust you will be a big factor.
Well, that's really interesting, because, and I know you don't know the definitive answer to this because there's too many permutations, but some of the promotions that I've run over the last few years, they're very, very good at getting, how can you say, the stats look very good in terms of clicks, for example, and I get a lot of clicks at a good price, and they don't convert to someone clicking on and say, I don't know, come into my next free workshop or something like that. Do you think that one of those reasons could be, look, they're just checking you out, Carl? They're just kind of shopping and seeing what you are? Would you say that would be the...
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just thinking of one client that I can think of at the moment, and we're tracking traffic to her website as well as testing out all of the different stats that we need for the advert. We are also looking at the stats of what's going to her website. Now, the clicks on the advert were good. All the data was really good. But what was very surprising was she had over 7,000 visits to her website in a month. Not all directly from our advert, but certainly a significant number of those would be. Yeah. And so that makes you realise that, yes, a lot of people, they're going to go and check you out. They will check out your social media presence. They will go and check out your website. So you've got to have, great things and content on those as well. And it's got to be consistent. It's got to look professional. And it's all about building trust. So if it's something where you want somebody to opt in and spend £1,000 with you for whatever it might be, they're going to check you out. They're going to do their research. So you need to also be proactive. It's not just a matter of you set the ad up and let it go. You've then got to have some follow-up methods to go with it. And that is usually where campaigns fail. It's not that the campaign isn't bringing you the right people. It's doing what it's meant to do, but then nothing is done with it afterwards. People think they're just switched on and they leave it. Now, sometimes that might work, as I said, if it's something really cheap where there's not such a big issue of trust involved in whatever it is, they will book in straight away. If it's something where you've got to build trust, you have got to nurture those leads. And you might not be able to do it yourself. You might be busy. You might be a sole trader. You might be the only person who's having to do everything in your business. And that is when maybe you need to get some help in. You can probably get a VA for around about £10 an hour, and you won't have to hire them all day or not even every day to start with. But you might need somebody who can help you with that. But automation will be your friend as well. So you can automate a lot of things such as emails, text message, even WhatsApp follow-up now. And we find WhatsApp is very powerful at the moment. It doesn't mean it's always going to be, but it is at the moment. So you've got to think before you run any ads, what are you going to do with those leads who don't book in automatically to whatever it is that you were hoping they would do straight away? How are you going to nurture them and build that relationship and build that trust with them?
Yeah, that's pretty much sounds like where I am with some of my ads. Get a lot of traffic and not a lot of conversion sometimes. I notice as well just the information that's first presented. Like sometimes if you present the price earlier on, you get less clicks, but then you get more follow through because they've already established that as their buy-in or not reason. But there's lots of things. But there's two they're not conflicting. These are complementary in a way. But as you were speaking there, I was thinking, okay, so we got these business owners. We're saying to them, look, this is a really, really good tool if you use it in the right way for your business. You mentioned the word automation. Now, I know that almost every salon business freelancer I know is really, really busy, either delivering services or trying to grow and develop their business. So there's a certain side of this where, like you said, we can automate emails and we can automate organic posts and all that sort of stuff. And I would absolutely recommend you all do that. And when we did a live recently, I showed my screen where I was weeks and months ahead. But the process of running ads properly isn't automatic. What I mean is people can't just set it, can they, and just turn up a month later and they've had 500 new customers. They've got to keep focused on the results, making adjustments, perhaps, or taking the thing down or doing testing. I don't want people to think that it's a matter of, you pays your money and you just wait for a week, because that's the inclination with all marketing, by the way. People think I'll do 10,000 leaflets and just wait. Okay. Nothing like that in our industry, or nothing like that in any business sector really is about a one-off motion and it's done. We got to keep investing time and focus. Okay, so do you think, and you kind of answered this already, but let's kind of make it clear for them, do you think the average salon business owner could do this for themselves, or would you say, well, have a go anyway, or there's a certain level you could get to on your own, or would you say, listen, don't waste your time? I know you said about getting a VA to assist and all that, but just think, we are all really, really busy as salon business owners. Should I just get someone to do it, or would you say start off, Carl? You'll have a better understanding.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to how much time you have and inclination to do it. Because are you interested enough in wanting to do it for yourself? If you're not interested, you're never going to get good at it, because if you really hate it, you're not going to get good at anything. But yes, I would say you can do it for yourself if you take the time to learn it properly. And there's lots of resources out there on the Facebook platform itself. On YouTube, you can find lots and lots of content to help you do it. It is a constantly evolving thing, so it will catch you out all of the time. I mean, I've been doing this for over 6 years and I'm still having to constantly learn new things on the platform, or new things about advertising, or new things about how to write the copy for ads. So it's constantly evolving. So yes, you can learn to do it yourself, but as I said, do you have the time and the inclination? It would be like anything where you want to have an expert to do something. Would you try and learn how to do that yourself first, or would you get the expert in? Well, I guess it depends what it's for and how much skill. And certainly if it was something dangerous like electricity, I wouldn't be touching that myself, or plumbing or gas. But of course, this isn't on the same level as that. You're not going to have any risk to life, I hope. Well, not that I can think of. So yes, have a go. And I always think the good thing about having a go for yourself as well is it gives you a good insight into what your audience want as well. So it gives you a way of testing some things. So if you've got a treatment or a service that you maybe want to test out and see if anybody's interested, first of all, I would say post it organically, see if you can get some interest there, and then maybe run a short test, maybe for 7 days, to see what interest is there. So it might be that you're thinking of investing in a new system of something. See if the demand is there before you actually spend all of that money. And you could run a short advert to do that as well. So yes, it can be learned, but as I said, it really comes down to time, because it is very time consuming. We monitor all of our campaigns 7 days a week. And so for anybody doing this, this is what you need to do as well. You need to monitor the data. You need to know what the data actually means as well. So it's not just numbers. You need to know what those numbers mean in relationship to other numbers as well. So yeah, by all means, I would recommend having a go, because you will learn a lot about what works for you and your business as well.
Yeah. But it is a lot of time investment if you want to get it right.
It is.
Something that kind of sprung to mind. It was a daft thought in a way, because you are clearly an expert and a very experienced expert. And I was thinking about my own kind of situation as a salon business coach. You're doing all this stuff and you're watching other people dabbling, all right? Because people dabble in my sector as well. They'll do a little course, or they'll watch a few YouTube videos or something like that. But do you kind of, just between you and I, we won't tell anyone, right? Do you kind of know stuff that nobody else does? Do you know what I mean? So I'm assuming you would, right? Because you're an expert. I'm assuming you know tons more than me. And when you end up doing my socials, I'm expecting a list of Carl. You've really messed up, mate. All right. But do you feel like that when you're working? You think, God, I know this stuff. Is it like that, or is it, Carl? No, that's just a bit conspiracy theory.
I would say that I can usually tell when people think they know how it should be done, and they will often try and give me advice in how to run the campaigns, which I take on board. I'm not think I know everything. And then usually it's because they've watched a few YouTube videos and some guru of Facebook has recommended these things. And I would say it takes years to learn how to use a proven system properly. And also the little tricks that Facebook and Instagram will use to keep you on that platform as well. So, for example, they will constantly want you to increase your daily ad spend. And there are all sorts of little alerts that will come up and make you think you're doing things wrong, such as you need to call an expert because you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Or they will tell you that your account has, or your advert has learning limited on it, which is actually completely normal. Most campaigns will stay in learning limited unless you've got the budget to throw at it for, it depends what the service is. But if you're offering an expensive treatment, you might not get 50 people opting in a week. And that's what the algorithms are looking for. They're looking for 50 people, which it might or might not hit that number. It depends on your daily ad spend as well. And then they will say to you, you need to spend more money because you're still in learning limited, which is actually quite a normal thing.
You have been listening to the Salon Help Good to Go podcast with Carl Hinder and Ann Vasey. This was part 1. Please take a look in the show notes. Pick up Ann's link. Make sure that you leave a review for us and let other salon, spa and clinics know that I'm here every Sunday at 4 p.m. to kickstart their week. See you in the next episode, which is part 2.